why is Road America deserving of a cup race?
Oh, I think it's deserving of a cup race, but I also think that it's going to be a cup race for a really long time. I think it's a part of the country that has a huge passion for racing that doesn't have a cup race. And Road America is obviously a very historic racetrack. It's a great facility, and Fourth of July weekend. I mean, it's a recipe for a great weekend. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to be there. I really hope that I get to do the race there. Don't know what my cup schedule looks like for the rest of the year, but that is one I have circled and probably put at the top of my list. So it's a great racetrack, and the fan base that comes out there is phenomenal, and it's obviously Fourth of July weekend ties it all in together.
I know you know your way around that track, but why is that the top of the list? There's so many great tracks on the Cup schedule. Why this one?
For all those reasons I just said, it's just, I mean, forget about the racetrack and the racing that it provides and the speeds and uh, just the energy that's around that racetrack is so much fun. It's a historic place. The town in Elkhart Lake is great. It's just a great atmosphere, and that's something as a competitor, as a driver, that's something you want to be part of. That's a culture you want to be part of, and something you want to celebrate because at the end of the day, everyone's there for racing, but it's always so much more.
But just getting off course seems to be the biggest way to ruin your day. Would you agree? Is that the key to getting around Road America and winning that race?
Yeah, the challenging thing with Road America and other really long racetracks is that in practice you don't get a lot of laps, so you don't get to really get into a rhythm, and then there's a lot of corners, so there's a lot of opportunities to make mistakes, and it's hard to put a lap together. I feel like that's what makes these longer racetracks that much more challenging. The other challenge that Road America provides is that I mean it's big enough you can have weather on different sides of the racetrack. I mean you can it can be raining in Canada Corner and can be completely dry in turn one. So there's a lot of different challenges just due to that. And I'd say from a crew chief standpoint, from a setup standpoint, there's like every type of corner at that racetrack. So there's a lot of different challenges, and you have the tire wear that goes into it. So it's a fun place. It's very dynamic for all those reasons.
Okay, let's talk about Daytona. Obviously, you're trying to get into the 500. I know a lot of Daytona prep work is already done, but how much time do you need down there on track to feel comfortable and feel ready to give your best shot to make the 500?
Yeah, I mean, I'd take all the time they'd give me, but all I'm getting is a 50-minute practice session to figure out how to drive a cup car and get in the show. So it's a small window for error, but no, it's a great opportunity for me. Obviously, it's the Great American Race. It's the biggest race on the NASCAR schedule. It would be my first Cup Series start, so a lot of fun things about it. But like you said, the biggest challenge right now is for me is to get in the race. Qualifying is extremely important for us. The duels are even that much more important. So all my prep work so far has gone into that. I'm not even sure I've watched the full length race. I've only been watching duels. I've been, understanding the strategy that goes into it and really figuring out all the small details about the cars to, make that car feel like home, even though I've only been in it for a short amount of time.
Well, hopefully you'll have some teammates in your dual race. I don't. You would think that the odds are pretty good that you're going to get at
I
least
would be
one.
extremely unlucky if I didn't have a single Penske affiliated car in one of the duels. So hopefully that's the case. I've been racing the Xfinity Series with a teammate for the last 3 years, so I guess it wouldn't be new, but definitely in an environment with a lot of new drivers. So at least be nice to have a friendly face.
I'm assuming you have a ton of confidence coming off that championship last fall. Just where are you at mentally as you try to take the next step here a year early, hopefully, and get into some cup races?
Yeah, obviously that's the goal when you head into the season is to try and contend for a championship and ultimately win the championship. So for me, it's been a lot of hard work. I've had to learn a lot in a short amount of time, and when you're able to put in that hard work and have some results because of it, but not only some results, but winning a championship at such a high level, it's pretty gratifying. So it helps you confirm that the process you're going through are the right things and the steps you're taking are correct, and it justifies the hard work. And honestly, it motivates me to work even harder because the steps I've taken have gotten me this far. So keep going. There's bigger mountains to climb in the sport of NASCAR and in motorsports, and it's obviously a great stepping stone. But for me, it's pretty cool. It's my first championship in racing, so nothing would be better than trying to do it all over again.
Yeah, what's the biggest goal for this year? Is it to be a repeat champ or to make some strides in Cup and make some starts? What's your biggest goal?
Yeah, I think for me, I can't change my goals from last year, and specifically due to the format. We've got a format that is catered to throughout the regular season, running well, running hard and competitive every single race, and you'll be rewarded for it. But when you get to the end, if you're one of the four guys, you've done your job. You've gotten there. That the hard part's over, and then you have to go have your best day. So for me, I think that the number one goal is to make it to the final four, the championship four round, and then from there, anything's a bonus. That was my mentality going into it. I'm not sure I was ever had a clearer head than what I did on the morning of race day at Phoenix for those reasons, whether if that's a justification process or actually just how I feel. And it's honestly how I feel because you can't decide when it's going to be your day or when it's not. You put the prep work in to have a perfect day and you go for it. So the rest of it's hard work for 32 races to be as competitive as possible, run as much as possible, and collect as many points and try and find yourself in Phoenix with a shot.
Do you think that mindset carries over to Cup? Obviously you are focused every week and you're trying to do your best, but kind of having that loose attitude, does that help, I think, with Cup?
I think for me, it would. Every competitor is different. Other people have different things that motivate them. It's a very competitive environment, especially the farther up you move. The Cup Series, instead of having 10 or 12 guys in the Xfinity Series, you've got 20, 25 guys that have a shot to win on every given week. So that's another challenge that makes it harder to gain those points. That makes it that much harder, and then you've got longer races. So for me, my any confidence I've gained has been gained through knowledge, and then applying that knowledge. And every time that your outcome is what you expect it to be, that's how confidence is gained. So I feel like that's been my process, and that's worked for me thus far. And um, it's all about the prep work, in being ahead of the game, not being reactive. So that's been fun for me to learn and figure out and be able to apply. And it does take a little bit of time and experience, but hopefully what I've learned in the Xfinity Series is good enough to jumpstart me in my Cup career.
Are these Cup guys leaning on you at all for road course tips with so many on the schedule this year?
Yeah, I think some of my experience helps me in that regard. I've spent a lot of my career leaning on guys like Joey, Ryan, and Brad, and Matt, just because they've got the experience that they can help me navigate some things, even if I have some questions like, hey, is this normal? Is this right? Is this how this should be? And they've been great resources for me in my career. So if there's anything I can provide or help with in those areas, they know I'm an open book. So we've talked about stuff in the past. We've worked together in the past, and it's great to have a team environment like that.
Before I let you go, I want to ask you about COVID. What did you learn about just managing race week or anything around the track that you can apply to this year?
Yeah, I mean, COVID's definitely it's changed more of my uh, weekdays than it has my life at the racetrack. Obviously, my life at the racetrack's changed by not doing practices most weekends, having less crew members, having a limited amount of fans, if any. So that's been the change. But on track, not a whole lot changed. My job's still the same. I still get to have just as much fun as I was having before. But during the week, I don't have the ability to spend much time at the shop because we've got 400 to 500 people working at Penske Racing between all of our racing programs and for the shop to keep drivers and the crew members and everyone else's family safe. I haven't been on the shop floor really in the same capacity since March of 2020, and for me that's a massive departure because I'm the kind of guy I'm there every day. That's all that matters to me. I don't have any other commitments. I don't have anything else that's more important in my life than my racing. So not to get to spend the time with my guys on the shop floor and looking at stuff, sitting in my cars, making sure everything's as prepared as I'd like it to be. Not that I don't have trust in my team, but it's good to see it. It's good to be part of it. So that's been different. I've spent a lot more time talking on my computer. That's how we do all of our prep work now, all of our film review, and it's just different. But it's how you react. And our team on the Xfinity side is established great communication, and I think that's another reason why we were able to come on so strong last year because not so many things changed for us. and I think that's a mark of a great team.